I'm not late today, eh? On time.
Ramadan is a blessed month that brings us close to Allah, brings us close to ourselves, brings us close to our families, brings us close to our communities. Allow us this Ramadan to take you through a special journey that will bring you as close as ever to your reality. Join Hatim Al Abdissaalam in Come Close, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We repeat at 9 to 10 p.m. here on the Nation Station.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Master of the Day of Judgment, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you all today with this lovely weather? And we're stuck here at the studio, Muhammad. Subhanallah. Anyways, welcome to your program Come Close with me, Hatim Al Abdissaalam, and joining me is engineer Muhammad Farooq. And today, yet with another episode in our series Come Close. This is a live show and it's going to be repeated in the evening from 9 till 10 p.m. and also repeated tomorrow from 5 till 6 at Fajr time. The lines are open for you to call and tell us what you think about the topics that we are discussing today. And the number to call is 24 60 20 58, 24 60 20 58. Muhammad, today we're talking... Oh, first, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Muhammad?
I'm wonderful.
Muhammad, we're talking today about wasting resources.
Yes.
Which is an environmental topic, part of it. And today you'll take us through different types of wasting resources and why is it important for us to conserve these resources and so on.
Exactly.
So why did we choose this topic in the first place, Muhammad? Especially in the month of Ramadan. What does it have to do with Ramadan?
Take a wild guess. It's most relevant in Ramadan. We do see wastage all around us, but it's not very noticeable during the normal months of the year. In Ramadan especially, more people come to masjid. All the masjids around the world, alhamdulillah, they get full starting from Fajr. That's the first prayer in the morning, all the way to Isha, and then Qiyamul Layl that takes place afterwards. So what we notice is two things. First thing is the excess of food.
Yes.
And the second thing we see is the excess usage of water for ablution at the masajids.
We'll get into that details inshallah after a while. I'll just tell you a small experiment that I did yesterday. Knowing that today we're going to talk about wasting resources. So yesterday I was invited for iftar in one of the restaurants. And I said I'm just going to observe the behavior of people. So what happened, like 15 minutes before the Maghrib call for prayers, around the buffet there was so much crowd which was unbelievable.
I hope they didn't have to call security.
And every single person was carrying almost 2 plates in his hand, while for you breaking the fast you only need like dates
and water
and fruits a little bit, and that's it. But subhanallah, people were shoving the food on the plates as if we were going to war. And I observed, and then we broke our fast, and we went for prayers and came back for dinner in the same restaurant. And by the time we came back, most of the people had already had dinner. And I was watching the people who were cleaning, clearing the tables for new customers to come in.
Okay.
And you won't believe the amount of food that was dumped into the bin. Most of it was not touched.
Yeah. See,
and the policy that they have in these restaurants, that once the food is on the plate, even if you don't touch it, it doesn't go back to the buffet.
Exactly. See, we need to stop eating with our eyes, and we need to start eating with our stomach, for which we've been given the formula of 1/3 for water,
Yes.
1/3 for food, and 1/3 for air. I was going to touch upon the buffet scene, but since you started with it, I'll add a little bit right now instead of coming back to it later.
Yes.
In some restaurants, what I've seen is they do have a all-you-can-eat policy, which I don't agree with to begin with, but they have it. But what they do is, especially the high-ticket items like
Meat, chicken,
dishes, they'll make somebody stand there and he'll serve in a way like, he'll cut the meat and put it on your plate.
Yes.
And then if you're still standing there with your plate, then he'll cut another piece and put it in your plate. So that's like one way of kind of reducing the waste. It's not the best way, but it's just one way. Personally, I think buffets should not be there.
I think, Muhammad, I don't really mind someone overeating. By principle, yes, there is a problem by that, but I don't mind if you have so much food on your plate and you complete and eat every single thing of it on your plate. I don't mind. But you taking that food, that amount of food, and then wasting it is a problem.
Exactly.
Especially when there are a lot of people who are in need, who are starving, who have no privileges, the same privileges that we have in eating different variety of food. I don't understand the mentality. Why can't you take just a few pieces of food, and then if you want
go back
more,
again.
Go back again.
I'll give you the answer to that. It's
Yes.
the fear that, it'll be over by the time I come back.
And that's not the case, because whatever services you're paying in a restaurant, the restaurant will make sure that the food will always be there when you come back. And that was the case because every time the dishes for serving the buffet was empty, someone comes and fill it up again. So continuously there is filling of the plates.
I saw another nice solution. I was on an assignment sent to the desert to visit these different camps for the energy sector.
Yes.
And most of them, they have buffets, starting from breakfast buffet up to lunch and even the dinner time. What I liked was they had a roll-up right at the place where you pick up your plate and you start filling it up.
Yes.
And then they would write on it how many kilograms of food was wasted yesterday.
Subhanallah.
I really like that idea. It stuck with me,
Subhanallah.
For those of us who are totally heedless, it's an excellent reminder. Now it's up to us. Do we still violate that?
I think
we abide by it?
People should go even further to that and put videos on screens. Put videos on screen, the amount of food that is wasted every single day.
Exactly.
And we should be ashamed to call ourselves Muslims and do such acts. Because this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates.
Exactly.
And we are required to be thankful for the blessings and the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us. And yet we are being thankful by dumping this food in the garbage every single day.
And we don't feel bad about it.
We don't feel bad.
Yeah.
We are totally numb.
If we did feel bad about it, we would try to do something about it.
Subhanallah.
So our inaction tells us that,
I find some families, Muhammad, they have a very good culture in terms of their restaurant habits. So when they go out for a dinner or lunch, the entire family, if they are 6 members, so they will order only 3 dishes.
Yeah.
And 2 will share. Because if you notice, Muhammad, when you go and order food in a restaurant, the quantity in one plate is actually for 2 people or even 3. But just the idea that, you know what, I have to order my own plate.
Exactly.
And
So-
this was not the case in the past, Muhammad, because our traditions, we used to eat from the same plate.
That's what I was gonna say. Even today, in certain, like mandi restaurants and all that, which I really appreciate, by the way, especially Camel Mandi.
Come on, man, don't bring up
I
the
know,
stories of Mandi now.
We gotta change the topic. So the thing is, and there's a hadith also that food of two will be enough for four, and so on and so forth. So if we eat from one common plate, then we'll have to even order lesser than when we order separate plates for each
Just imagine the benefits of that, Muhammad. First of all, the blessings of sharing the bread with your brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
And then economically, you're paying less. And then wasting of food, it will never be wasted because you're all sharing the same plate.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of benefit out of this, Muhammad.
Exactly.
And there is no shame in doing that. So if me and my son, we're in the restaurant sharing the same plate, what's wrong with that?
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with modernity or etiquette or anything.
I know.
It's something which is up to you.
See, bottom line is, if we will not value our own culture and the Islamic teachings which are given to us for our own benefit,
Yes.
and then nobody else will care either, and will either we influence others or we get influenced by others, and this is the struggle we see out there. So sticking to the
Muhammad, just hold on. I think we have a call.
Oh, wonderful.
Assalamu alaikum. We lost the call.
I'll call
Anyways,
again.
continue,
It's
Muhammad.
an interesting topic, so I'm hoping there will be
Inshallah.
interaction from outside. So just to look at a little bit more into wasting resources, and we'll try to focus more on like food and water in this episode. Wastage is like either the whole thing is not consumed, or it's not consumed at all, or it's consumed for the wrong reasons. Okay, it can be done by individuals, it can done by corporates, even nations are guilty of this thing because it develops into a culture, and like you said, people feel ashamed to go back to their roots, even though there's benefit in it.
We will give examples of how people waste food
Yeah.
as a nation.
Exactly.
As well.
Okay, so the more we consume, the more we waste, and the more we produce, the more we waste.
Let us take this call, Muhammad. Salaam alaikum. Salaam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. We can hear you.
Brother, I cannot hear your voice.
We can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear a little bit. Okay, fine. Alhamdulillah, today I am Mazhar Muhammad with you.
Yes, Mazhar.
What I can suggest you regarding the wastages, what I used to teach my kids, especially when we have table across food, I used to teach them every time. See, the countries who are suffering from war, and we used to watch news, to sit together and see how they are struggling to get one time of food, and you people are wasting. Take one time or 10 times, take little, how much you want. So we can put in every hotel or wherever we get in parties, we can just show some images of the people who are struggling to get one time of the food. I'm not talking 3 times, some of food. Just one time, and clean water, one glass of clean water. People are struggling a lot. I believe this kind of campaigning makes people alert before putting the food in the plate. They can think 100 times, or really worth taking so much food.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mazhar. I mean, I tell my children the same thing. If we stay somewhere, and generally, they have a buffet in the breakfast in the hotels.
Yes.
Because instead of preparing food individually for everyone and taking orders, which will take time, they just prepare everything and leave it there for you.
Yes.
So I always tell my kids, please take as much as you're going to finish.
And one more technique, Muhammad, when you go to the restaurant and you're with your family and you want to preserve food, so if you have a big quantity of food, then serve the food in a separate plate. Do not eat in the same plate that is being served to you. So take a fresh plate and take as much as you like, a portion of it, so that the original plate is not touched by your hands. And then what you can do is ask them that you will take this with you home. You can either give it away to someone who is needy or consume it in the next day. There's no problem with that. But the problem is for you to watch the food being dumped and you don't do anything about it.
Exactly. So there are a number of ways, like some you've already shared. So one of the shocking statistics, and I think one is enough for this one.
Yes.
Every year, 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted throughout the world. That's
Subhanallah.
almost 1/3 of the production. And even though food is the thing that comes to our mind when we talk about waste, but our lifestyles, we waste water, we waste energy, we waste wealth, we waste time, okay, and the list goes on. So
I would like, Mohammed, before you continue, to give examples of nations wasting resources as a whole. So you have in the Far East, for example, you have the water festival, and a lot of people know what is the water festival, and people just play around with water, while some places in Africa people don't have drinking water.
yeah.
And then you have somewhere in Europe that I'm not going to mention, where they have the tomato festival, where they throw around the tomatoes and have fun
Yeah, I know.
with it, which is
And these are adults, by the way,
yeah,
not children.
it's ridiculous, man. And then you have other countries in Northern America where they dump gallons of milk into the ocean
If they
just
don't
to
get
raise
the
the
right,
price.
if they don't get the right price, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
just to raise the price.
This is murder.
I mean, how can we as human call ourselves custodians on earth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed us responsible for this earth, and responsible for other creation, and we are wasting resources this way intentionally,
Exactly.
in small quantities individually, and also as a state.
Collectively, yeah. And
And-
everybody's okay with it.
And
if
and
it's done on a
nobody
state
says
level.
anything about it, and it's okay, and people are having fun. And when you talk about it and you want to propagate awareness, people think, you know what, this is
You're
too much.
old-fashioned.
You're old-fashioned,
Yeah.
and you're not flexible, and so and all
Yeah.
this crap.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time that people make a stand,
Exactly.
or take a stand,
Exactly.
and change
Yeah.
the way things are.
Yeah, I mean, because currently the way we consume through our living or eating, the way we dress and overconsume, the way we travel. I mean, look when you're driving in the morning. Let's say 95% of the vehicles, there's only one person sitting in it. So there is no concept of carpooling, or most people, they find using public transportation beneath them.
Yes.
And this is contributing at one end towards the consumption of oil, what we call petrol, and at the other end towards the pollution, all the exhaust fumes, which are
And traffic.
Exactly, and that traffic kills your time, so that's wastage of time as well.
Subhanallah.
But we are okay with it. So we can look at some of the signs of wasting resources. So
Yes.
because if we don't see the problem, it's difficult for us to
Get
do
the
something
solution,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah. So as an example, under our current capitalistic and materialistic setup, the planet is being hurt. And you gave the examples of tomato bashing and milk, flowing and all
water
that.
festival.
Water festivals, all that. And one of the solution is that we.
Oh, and I forgot Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Pumpkins.
Yeah. Something
Yeah.
has to be.
How could I forget that?
Something has to be smashed.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we need to try something different. We need to go back to our roots. And one of the movements you see globally right now is minimalism, where people are just buying the bare minimum just to survive, and they're leading a very content life. It's not like they're making a huge sacrifice and they're complaining about it, because the less we are entrenched in materialism, the happier and lighter we would be spiritually, and vice versa.
And actually, Muhammad, we're extravagant in every single thing we do,
Yeah.
especially people in the GCC. Subhanallah. If you ask yourself, Muhammad, how many dishes does a person have in his wardrobe? How many dresses does a woman have in her house? How many set of watch do you have? How many caps? How many boots? Some people have a special wardrobe for boots only, and shoes,
Exactly.
and handbags.
Yeah.
And this is totally waste of resources, while others don't even have one.
Yeah. And another thing is, we've been given the example that Muhammad, peace be upon him, he used to fix or stitch his own clothes. In our case, even if we get a small nick, we throw it out and we get something new. And
No.
same for the shoes.
Muhammad, it's even good if we throw it out. No, we give it out for charity.
Uh-huh.
Because I can't wear something that has patches, but the poor can wear. That's
Exactly.
why I give it to the poor,
Exactly.
thinking in my head that it's a act of kindness and,
Exactly.
and charity.
Yeah, something I don't want, I give it to someone else, and then I feel good about it that I did charity.
Subhanallah.
And even if the shoe is damaged slightly, we feel it's beneath us to go to the cobbler. So we would rather, toss it away in the garbage than to actually go and ask someone to fix it.
Just before you continue, Muhammad, we'd like to remind our listeners that this is a live show. We're talking today about wasting resources, and the lines are open for you to call and let us know what you think. The number is 2460 2058, 2460 2058.
And repeat at 9 p.m.
And the show is going to be repeated at 9 p.m. till 10. For those who have missed the previous shows, you can watch them on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is called Guidance, so you can watch all episodes. And we just wanted to remind you that on Saturdays, me and Muhammad, we're here live all alone. So yesterday we had a very good episode that is called Good Word, I think.
Yeah.
Good Word. So you can follow that episode on our YouTube on a daily basis. Mashallah, Muhammad is doing a good job uploading these episodes on the YouTube.
Okay, so let's look at the spiritual angle. And it says in Quran, this is Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse number 87. O you who believe, do not make unlawful the wholesome things which God has made lawful for you.
Yes.
But commit no excess, for God does not love those given to excess. And subhanallah, how relevant. Maida means table spread. Okay, so if we'll look at just a few signs of extravagance or waste. One obviously is excess. This could be excess in production, this could be excess in consumption, and specifically when we talk about food produce, there is loss or wastage during the production, at the processing, and even at the retailing stage. Okay, for example, when farmers overproduce, because last season there was a shortage of tomatoes, and this season everybody decided to grow tomatoes, and then there was oversupply, and the rate in the market was so less that they just let them rot over there. They said, if I pick them and pay for the labor of the people picking the tomatoes and putting them in the truck, and pay with the truck guy to bring it to the market, I'll spend more money on it than I'll get in the market, so just let them waste over there. They won't think about, okay, let me store it or make ketchup, or let somebody come and pick it up and let them use it for free.
Or give it to the poor.
Exactly. They'll say, no, even if I pick it up and bring it to the market, the cost is too much. So that's one problem. No proper forecasting and no proper planning that if there is an oversupply, what to do with it for the next year or the other months. The other one is loading produce in the trucks. I've seen this myself. There's a huge waste when these things are put in the cartons and then loaded on the truck. Next is spoilage during transportation. It could be weather related, the thing got heated.
They don't store them in the right conditions.
Exactly. So there was traffic delays, something happened, the truck broke down, or could be anything of that nature. The next one is spoilage due to the aging at the display in retail outlets. Something, even if it develops a spot, they immediately remove it. And I was in Japan and I saw something really nice, that some of the produce, as the day proceeds, they start putting discount on it. Okay.
So people can be encouraged to buy them.
After X number of hours, let's say it's 20% discount, and then 30, and then 50, because they want somebody to buy it. They don't want to throw it out.
And you'll find different segments of customers who are willing to buy, because not everybody can afford the original price.
Exactly. And then there's buying and storing in the fridge at home, because when we go for groceries, we generally do groceries without a list. We do it with our eyes, not with our head, especially when we're fasting. Yes. So like you said, we buy for a whole army, not just for our family. And then what happens is the spoilage takes place in our fridge. That's because of the expiry dates, and okay, I'll use it tomorrow. Oh, today I ate out with my friends in the office.
I like the system of Europeans where they buy groceries every week.
Yeah,
So they just buy for 1 week.
exactly.
And then it's over. Next week they buy again. Instead of buying like for a month and then you don't consume
Exactly,
it and
yeah.
then it gets
See,
spoiled.
yeah, one of the problem here is cultural, because when we were growing up, we had extended families.
Yes.
So we were used to buying wholesale. Let's go to the market and just buy one time.
Yes.
Yeah, and it used to be consumed. Now it's an average family has what, 3, 4, 5, 7 members, or mostly like 4 or 5, and we're still
Buying the same quantity.
yeah, we are clinging on to the old habits. It doesn't work. So we need to come down to the point of like, okay, I want like 1 or 2 kilos of this, or I want only like 3 or 4 pieces of bananas. Okay, I'll come after 2 days, no problem. I'll come after next week or the next day, but this will reduce the spoilage. And the other thing is, then food is lost when we're used to eating on the tables instead of sitting on the floor and sitting and eating together. So when food falls down, generally we don't pick it up because the conditions down are not very favorable that you pick up food. But there's a hadith where, peace be upon him, he said, when one of you eats his meal and a morsel falls down, he must pick it up and remove the doubtful portion and eat the rest. He must not leave it for the devil.
Yes.
Okay, now this is practical in terms of saving us money, and spiritual as well. He gave a reason also for this thing, but this would be possible if we are sitting together on a maida on the floor. It would be more practical and possible, because if we're sitting on a table and our feet are down there and then thing falls down, most probably you don't want to touch that food and
people won't eat it.
Exactly. So we need to look at the whole cycle, not just one thing. Another one is the leftovers after cooking, and when you're doing your dishes, then you can realize how much food was wasted. Okay, and there's a hadith where it says, when one of you eats, he must lick his fingers after finishing, for he does not know in which of them lies blessings. These are words of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So the other thing is, all this food which is wasted during different stages, from production up to logistics, up to the display in the retail, you buying it, bringing it to your fridge, from fridge to your table, and from your table finally to the dishwasher or to the garbage. Every single stage there is leakage. Every single stage results in wastage. So when you add it up, the figure of 1/3 is not that far-fetched. It is realistic. In some advanced countries, it is up to 1/2 also. In the developing and poor countries, it's a different story. Obviously, they cherish more. They take care of what food they have more. So all this food wasting results in money wasting also, because it's not free food.
It's not free.
You're paying for it. Yeah. So this is some of the things when we talk about excess. Now the second part, which is another sign that you can notice, and notice enough where it starts to bug you that you want to do something about it. Right now you don't even care. So the second sign is gluttony, meaning you just can't stop yourself from food, the different tastes, the different flavors, the buffet line, the spices,
and especially today, Muhammad, that we have social media.
Oh,
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
The amount of food that is displayed is unbelievable.
Yeah.
People advertise for food every single minute.
With videos.
I go to this restaurant, guys, you have to try this cake, you have to try this pancake, you have to try this.
It's like the whole life revolves around food. God sent us on this planet to eat and to feed others. That's it, Yeah. And the sad thing is, the food, first, before it goes into our mouth, it goes into our camera. Which was unheard of a few years or decades, but now it's normal. The minute they bring the food, they'll just tell you, "Sir, would you like me to take picture for you? Give me your camera."
And most of the time, it's like annoying. You're hungry, you're starving, and you're with friends, and the food is served in the restaurant, and you're about to take the first bite, and someone says, "Oh, wait,"
and then everybody starts.
Yeah,
everybody takes their camera.
Everybody takes. Yeah, this is crazy, man.
Okay, so here it's and by the way, this results in health issues also, like diabetics and obesity and
Before
things of
that,
nature.
Muhammad, why most of the people are asking me, why do you have a problem with it, taking pictures of food? I have a problem with it because me and you can afford it, but someone else who's seeing these videos cannot afford it. and you're, bragging about it. Oh, this cake is so tasty. This cake is, mashallah, you should have been here, and so on.
Yeah, you see.
And it creates animosity towards others.
It can backfire also, because see, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with a lot. You can enjoy these luxuries. Let's say in the future circumstances change, okay, and you just have enough to survive. Will you look at those pictures and regret? I mean, what's the point of taking pictures? What is the benefit? Somebody needs to explain that.
Marketing for the restaurant.
Yeah, but you're not getting anything out of it. It's if they're paying you a commission,
then... I'm sorry, Muhammad, you get paid.
You really?
People get paid heavily now. Yes.
Okay, if they're doing
even if you don't like the pudding, you have to say that it's nice, man, because you're getting paid. Yeah, that's the reality, my friend.
We're really getting messed up now as humanity.
Continue.
Okay, so here there's an ayah. This is chapter Taha, chapter 20 and verse 81. Eat of the wholesome things we have provided for your sustenance, but commit no excess therein, lest my condemnation fall upon you, and upon whom my condemnation falls has indeed thrown himself into utter ruin. Okay, so here God Almighty has used different words, but He's trying to communicate the same message. Don't become slaves of your stomach. Okay, yes. And the third reason or observation would be the very visible spending.
When you said don't be slaves to your stomach, it reminds me of the saying of I think Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, the second caliph, when he said وَكُلَّمَا اشْتَهَيْتَ اشْتَرَيْتَ is whenever you desire something, you buy it. So
exactly.
The need and the want. You remember we discussed before about the need and the want. Every time you desire something, it doesn't mean that you need to go and buy it.
By the way, this is what I tell my kids at the toy shop.
Oh, that's a different case, Muhammad. That's a closed chapter.
But there's words of wisdom that he said. So the third sign is the overspending. Spending in a way, not overspending, feeding the poor or the hungry or the needy or the orphans, but on yourself. Okay, and the first thing that comes after food is clothing, for men and women. Okay. You mentioned it in the beginning of the show as well, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Surah Al-Araf, that's Surah 7 verse number 31, O children of Adam, wear your beautiful apparel at every time and place of prayer, and eat and drink, but do not be excessive. Verily God does not love the wasteful. Okay, so this message is for whole mankind. It says Bani Adam, that's children of Adam, peace be upon them. That's all of us.
I think the message is loud and clear, Muhammad. God, the verse says literally, God does not like those who are wasteful.
Yeah.
So if you're wasting resources, whatsoever they are, then God does not love you.
Exactly.
And if God does not love you,
you're in trouble.
Guess where you belong.
And guess who loves you?
And who loves you?
Yeah. So that's pretty serious. So what happens is the social spending, where we are showing how much we are spending, becomes more important than the actual gathering or the actual bonding. Then it becomes a real problem, because it leads, even in this world, it leads towards envious and jealousy, and oh, look, so and so thinks he's a big shot, look what he's wearing and he's showing off, and same goes with the ladies as well.
I think we have a call.
Ashwin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
How are you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, how are you, sir? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So this wastage you're talking about, it's really wonderful, really. And congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Who are talking. And I wanted to tell that, this wastage happens on a daily basis in many houses. Water wastage. People, they start brushing their teeth, let us say. And the tap keeps flowing. They don't switch off the tap.
So you're absolutely right.
That's right.
Absolutely right.
That's one thing. And food wastage, what they do, they put more, they put more on their plates, more than what they can eat and what they require. And they think they just waste it. They just leave it at that. They can't eat that, and ultimately they leave it. When we ask them, why are you wasting so much? Then they keep saying, I can't eat that. It is too much. Why did you put it in your plate in the first place? Such kind of wastage, it keeps happening, on a daily basis.
Right.
This awareness should be, especially water. Water, there are many countries who don't even have water to drink on a daily basis. This is going to be a really big problem, and nobody is doing anything about it. No government, nobody is doing anything about it. That's really a very hard situation which is going to become really. So that's it. Those are my thoughts over there.
Thank you very much,
Thank
brother Ashwin. This was he brought our attention to a very important topic. Some of us, we feel embarrassed to tell the waiter that, can you please parcel this so I can take it. We feel it's beneath us. Okay. In terms of water, we always say countries in Africa. Where I'm from, because we did some projects for them for water, I know this for a fact. There are places where women and children spend 4 to 6 hours daily just so they can have enough water to survive. And this is not Africa. And there's a hadith of Prophet ﷺ where he said that if you're doing wudu, that's ablution, even on a stream or a river, still don't waste water.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Muhammad, today in villages of Africa, people who want to consume water, they have to walk on a daily basis from 2 to 3 kilometers to go and fetch water and then bring it back to their villages.
Exactly.
And then consume that. While we have, in every corner of our houses, you have taps of water. And as the brother has said, those who are brushing their teeth and leave the water running, those who are taking shower and thinking about of their wife or their neighbor's cat, those who are performing ablution or wudu in mosques, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, and this has become the norm.
It's amazing the amount of water that is consumed in a mosque, and I would urge all my brothers out there today, please change these habits and be mindful of the resources. I personally, what I do is I never take ablution in the mosque unless I'm on the way traveling. I'm not coming from my house, then I have to do ablution in the mosque. But I do it in my house so that I can save the resources of the mosque. Because mosque, for people who don't know, mosque, they don't have a steady income. Sometimes they have the shops which are attached to the mosque.
Yeah, with the rental income.
That cover the electricity and water and other bills and the salaries of the workers. But most of the time it is not enough to cover the bills of the mosque, especially for maintenance. So you are supposed to be a responsible citizen and do not do your ablution in the mosque. Do it in your house.
Exactly.
Do it in your house.
Where you will be more conservative with water.
Well, you will be more conservative because at the end of the month,
you have to pay the bill.
You have to pay the bill.
Yeah.
But if you're using the water of the mosque,
you feel it's free.
You feel it's free, and then, sometimes...
Or in your office.
Sometimes, which is very annoying, Muhammad, you find two people, doing wudu, ablution, and the taps are open, and then they're like, ma'loom, mukhbar, they're talking. They're asking one another while the water is running. And then if you tell them, can you please close the tap, they look at you in such a way
like
as
you
if,
insulted them.
No, it's like mind your own business.
Exactly.
As if this is not public property, this is their property.
Exactly. See, at the supply side, the relevant authorities can do they can take few steps. Like this would be recommendation from our side. One is, at Sultan Qaboos Grand Masjid, we have the taps where, they have the sensors.
Automatic taps.
Yeah. So they run for a while, and if you move away or whatever, they shut off.
Yes.
This should be made mandatory in all the masajids to begin with.
Let me argue a little bit with you, Muhammad. These taps that are working on sensors, they are either working on electricity or batteries.
Yeah.
That's again resources.
Yeah.
We want to change the mindset of the people. So today, if you have the taps that are automatic, well and good. But if you're in a place where you have the traditional taps, you should be
on autopilot. You should know what to do.
You should know. You should have the attitude that, automatically I'm not going to waste this water.
Exactly.
So we don't want to make things easy for people. We want to change the mindset of people that, from today, I'm going to be very conservative.
In that case, if these things are taught in school to 4th graders, 3rd graders, 5th graders, trust me, they'll flag us also when we do something wrong.
It is there in the curriculum, but if you don't see your teacher implementing it, if you don't see your parents at home implementing it, if you don't see the imam in the mosque implementing it, and the community implementing it, then
becomes
you find
tough.
it becomes something normal.
It becomes only academic.
You become one of the gang as well.
Exactly. So next we'll try to look at some of the solutions when it comes to resource wasting.
Yes, tell us. Give us the good news.
Yeah, I mean the most popular and easiest thing to remember is reduce, reuse and recycle.
Okay.
Now this is something of a global movement. It's not
Triple R.
Triple R. Yeah,
this is Muhammad trademark? Or?
No. This is available out there.
Okay.
I mean, it's we're too late. But see, if you go above and beyond that,
yes.
if you add sharing to it, and then going local, that also helps. Now, there's a verse in Quran I found. It's in chapter 6, verse number 141. There are multiple lessons in this thing. I want the listeners to pay attention to this one. The ayah is, it is He, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has brought into being gardens, the cultivated and the wild, and date palms and fields with produce of all kinds, and olives and pomegranates, similar in kind and variated. Eat of their fruits in season, but give the poor their due on harvest day, and do not waste, for God does not love the wasteful. Now the key message is here is where it says eat of their fruits in season. Now what do we do nowadays? Something is out of season, we get it from the other part of the world. So it comes through the aircraft DHL or normal flight. So all the money you're spending on it in packing and the petrol the aircraft is spending and the time and the labor, and finally it comes to you and it's already old.
Just because
you wanted it.
Because of your grace that you can have this.
Just because I can.
This avocado on your table.
Exactly. So any place, anywhere in the world, any season, I can have whatever I want. It doesn't matter how much I spend on that rambutan or that avocado, just because it flew halfway across the planet just for me. Okay. So better to eat something which is in season. Season means you will eat where you are.
Yes.
Right? That is your season. So going local, going to SMEs, supporting the local farmers.
Yes.
And it'll be good for your health as well. The next one is, but give the poor their due on harvest day. What does that mean? No storage, no refrigerators, no chillers. Okay. No canning the food, no processing, no adding preservatives. Okay. And giving due to the poor means it is their right. So you're sharing with them also. So if you share, you will move away from that cupboard culture and the refrigerator culture, because and more people will benefit. And do not waste. Okay.
Because
so all these
there's
things,
enough resources for everybody.
Exactly. So all these things are captured, mashallah, in this one ayah. This is just amazing, because import of money, it results in all these things.
Tell us more about the reduce and reuse and recycle, Muhammad.
Yeah, see, first of all is if you study the minimalism movement out there, it's really amazing. I strongly recommend the listeners to check out a few videos, get a book, talk to someone who's practicing it. It's very close to the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay. The other thing is reuse. Put a patch on your cloth. Okay, fix your shoe. Doesn't mean the first nick you get on it, you throw it out and you run out and you buy a new one.
And there is no shame in that.
Yeah, exactly. Someone has to stand up and make this a culture.
And you know why there is no shame?
Again, this is Sunnah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
I'll tell you why there is no shame in that. We feel ashamed to stitch something that is torn or to put a patch on this, while people are wearing jeans now, Muhammad, as if they are from the ghetto.
Yeah.
The entire jeans is torn, completely torn, and you pay 40 riyals for that jeans.
You pay top money for it.
You don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you refix it, then there is a problem.
Exactly.
We're living in a very crazy world,
strange
Muhammad.
time, yeah.
Very strange time, where the poor wants to wear proper clothes of the rich, and the rich, they want to wear the clothes of the poor.
And generally, if you look at the clothing, especially for our sisters, the lesser the cloth, the more is the price.
Subhanallah.
Another thing I've seen is that my golf shirt is almost the same or less price than my son's golf shirt. So explain that, even though the material used is almost half.
Yeah. So children clothing is very expensive.
Yeah, so we have to say thanks to branding and marketing for all these amazing things that we are facing. And
recycling.
Recycling is great. You can recycle water, as an example. The people who are doing wudu in the masjid, that water can be recycled and used for planting the
palm trees
and things like that.
Yes.
It can be filtered and used for after treatment. It can be used for wudu again. Same goes for glass, plastic, paper. Okay, so there are different movements globally which are generating awareness, and the youth, they are more tuned to this thing. The other day my kids came and this was part of their homework, in the book, and they were asking me what's the difference and how this can save the environment. And further, if we look at a few tips, again we'll try to stick to food because this is the one that bugs us the most, and trust me, if we have an issue with food and water, we will not survive.
Yes.
As humanity, we will not survive.
There are other important things, Muhammad, also in addition to food and water, which is very essential. We use it throughout the year. One that really disturbs me, especially in my household, is electricity.
Yeah.
You find no one is sitting in the bedroom and the lights are on.
AC is on.
No one is sitting in the living room, the AC is on.
Yeah.
And this is just crazy, Muhammad.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And if we don't teach our children the responsibility of taking care of these resources, just because your dad has a thick salary and can afford to pay the bill, it doesn't give him the right, or it doesn't give you the right to consume so much that it is a burden to the government. It is the burden to the factories that are producing this energy. It is the burden for the next generations that will come, that might not have these resources. And we as Muslims, Muhammad, we need to change our attitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the way we think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some Muslims will tell you, you know what, the throne of Allah is unlimited, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has food and substance for all humanity until the day of judgment. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has resources for all humanity until the day of judgment.
But why He's given us guidelines?
But it doesn't give us the right to waste resources.
Exactly.
This is the bottom line.
Yeah, we have the example of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he led his life. I mean, he could have been the most extravagant person, So the other and another thing, in the old days, the homes used to be different, and the washrooms or the toilet used to be outside and one toilet. Okay, now you have a toilet with every room. Every bedroom has its own bathroom.
You have to have a jacuzzi, man.
It's again wasting of water and all that, and it all adds up. Nothing is free,
I mean, we were humans in the past, Muhammad, and now we turned into ducks.
That's your spin-off on evolution, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the tips in terms of food: plan your meals for the week before heading to the grocery store. Yeah. Try to do some kind of a math. Exactly how much do you really need 10 kilograms of potatoes? Seriously, okay. Incorporate daily leftovers into tomorrow's dinner. Don't throw stuff out, especially when you're dining at home, even outside. Use small plates. This will improve your health, trust me.
What about Monday, Muhammad? How can you use small plates in Monday?
No, seriously.
Be practical, Muhammad.
No, we need to cut it down. We're talking about health here as well.
No, let me urge when you about this point, when you're talking about this using the small plate. I have, how our weddings are, Muhammad, in the mosque. They have this huge plate, and then you find 3 people sitting there, and they can't finish the food.
After 2 minutes, they get up and leave.
We were grateful when we spoke about people sharing food and sitting on the same plate, but not 2 people and 3 people sitting in a plate that is covering 10 people.
Yeah,
that is not the point.
All right.
And what I've noticed, some of the weddings that I went to, what they do, they bring these huge plates, which has the rice and the meat. And then they have the small plates where you can take the portion that is enough for you, and do not waste the remaining.
Excellent.
Because once you put your hand in that big plate, then khalas, nobody else can eat it. So it's a total waste. And then sometimes you find people in wedding, only the 3 of them, and then you will see them whispering, don't allow someone else, it's just the 3 of us. Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? Sharing is caring.
I know.
Yeah, don't have this attitude that you don't want to share your food with someone else.
We need to keep on revisiting the hadith, so we have knowledge. And
I think
so next one is
Muslims need to be reboosted.
A lot of things need to be reprogrammed.
You turn them off and then reprogram again.
Reboot, format and reboot. Okay, next one is put less food on your plate. Following that, avoid buffets. And The other one is, and if little bit food is left out, like the core of the apple, things like that, try to make compost, and which acts as a fertilizer for your local farm in your house, or your garden that you have. Try to fast at least twice a week. This will not only boost your energy level and improve your health, but it will have an impact on your spend as well. And last but not least, cooperate with charities and food banks, because in some places they're making an effort. They are talking to restaurants that please don't throw the stuff out. I know by law you're not allowed to serve it again. Please don't throw it. Let us know. Our vehicle will come pick it up at night. We know who needs what. We'll distribute it.
Yes.
So you just give it to us. Don't throw it out in that big black bag, in the garbage. Don't do that. So these are some of the tips, and we would love to hear from our listeners as well if they have any other ideas. Maybe they've been to another country, they saw something
also
different.
One of the good things is to care about the creatures that are living in our household. So you have cats, you have stray dogs, and you have birds and so on. Instead of throwing that food in the bin, feed these animals, because you will get a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for feeding these animals and caring about them. And also we are responsible for them. If they are living in our household, in our compound, then the least that you can do is put water for them and feed them.
Share your risk with them also.
Yes.
And finally, one might say, okay, all this is wonderful, but why should I care about this? Everybody else is doing, and you expect me to sacrifice. Why you're not telling others? Why?
How can I make a change in this world if I'm only one person?
Exactly. So the thing is, there are two axes to this thing. One is individual, and one is collective as a society.
Yes.
Individual is that we need to stop these bad habits which inculcate into ourselves, and they start to grow, and they create negative personal characteristics. Like in Surah Bani Israel, that's ayat number Surah 17 verse 27, it says, "Verily spendthrifts are brothers of shaitan, and the shaitan is to his Lord ungrateful." So the message is clear. If we are just spending left, right and center, not on the deserving people, but just on ourselves and people who don't deserve it, then we are brothers of shaitan, and in other words, we are ungrateful. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter, we can say Alhamdulillah with our tongue, but our actions, they are giving another image, which is not as per this ayah. And if we get into overconsumption, there is physical harm and decrease in blessing and poverty and things of that nature.
Let us take this call, Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Ahmed, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're wonderful.
It's nice to hear from you.
MashaAllah, well discussed topic. Like you went through a lot of things, causes, solutions, and so on. I enjoyed listening to the very educational session.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize the idea of some of the cultural norms where some people are trying to put a lot of pressure on certain people and contribute to this culture of waste. Hatim, we're talking about the idea of wedding.
Yes.
And even sometimes, during the funeral times or at the time,
Yes.
where there's this kind of pressure from the society, even on poor people, on this Western culture. I don't like this, pressure or social pressure on a lot of people. And also, I don't want people who are capable financially to adopt this culture. Okay, we need to go back to the Islamic roots, the Islamic principles. We need to have a lot of educational sessions like yours or platforms where we need to educate people. And we need to have a lot of hands-on activities or experiences for the students in the school, in the colleges, so that we can really show the real meaning of maintaining and keeping all this wealth. And I think we still live on the theoretical framework. We need to show people more examples, like how people suffer in other places, so that they can see the value of the ni'mah or the blessing that they have now. And if they don't maintain them by using them wisely, you don't know. God could punish us for not maintaining and keeping this wealth
Correct.
So I think we need to do a lot of this kind of hands-on activities. I don't know what you want to call them, but there's something should be more practical so that people can see the value of conserving, a lot of wealth that we have been granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair, Ahmed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
that.
call. Yeah,
Thank you.
I would like to add, he made a very good point.
Thank you.
One proof of this thing is the collective marriages, which take place every so often to reduce the expenses and,
Yes.
of what you have.
I think we have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
Brother Hatim, how are you?
Fine. How's everything?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
This is Hisham speaking.
Yes, Abu Ilyas.
MashaAllah, the show is very good.
Thank you.
And it's very useful information. I cannot hear you actually.
No worries. We can hear you.
We
We can hear you.
MashaAllah. I would like to add something about today's topic.
Yes.
Is the perhaps we can spread the awareness of introducing the recycle machines that we can install them at home. All the waste food can be put in this machine and it can turn into soil.
MashaAllah.
And I think this will be a benefit instead of throwing the waste food actually.
Mm-hmm.
Jazakallah khair,
Yeah.
Brother Hisham,
Appreciate
for that.
it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Tamam.
Thank you.
Shukran,
Shukran.
jazakallah khair.
Take care.
All right. So the second point before the call was, first one was for our own self, and the other one was collectively as a society and
Yes.
for the environment and reducing pollution and all that. And again, there's an ayah in Surah Al-Qasas, that's 28, verse number 77. It says, "And do good as Allah has been good to you, and do not seek to cause corruption in the earth. Allah does not love the corruptors." Okay. And as a closing note, final word, I would like to say that while Ramadan is about Qalilul Naum wa Qalilul Tam, yani less of sleep and less of food, we need to ask ourselves, am I fasting during the hour days and feasting during the night? And
The vimto has to be there, man.
that's a separate topic. I don't want to say anything about them on air, but I take my views off air.
Okay.
Because when we are just fasting during the day and feasting at night, we are not only wasting our time but our health also. And we also need to ask ourselves, am I staying up all night engaged in Ramadan serials on TV and floodlight football tournaments? That's wasting my time. Or am I actually spending time with Quran and feeding the poor and the needy and the people who really need my time and my money?
Basically, thank you, Muhammad, for that. Basically, my final message to all of you is that the verse that Muhammad mentioned in the beginning was very clear, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love those who are extravagant or who are wasteful.
Yeah.
So the choice is yours, my dear listeners, whether you want to be within the confinement of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you want to be somewhere else. It's up to you. Waste is waste, whether it is in time, in energy, in resources, in food, in water, in health, in clothes, in everything that you do, you waste, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love those who waste. So the decision is yours. This is from me, Hatim Al Abdissaalam, and engineer Muhammad Farooq. See you tomorrow with another episode from Come Close. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا